to the Tia B Show. Yes, you heard that right. We are starting our own series here on our YouTube channel. You guys have heard my story multiple times. You guys have heard what I've been through. You've heard my life opportunities. And now it is time for me to share other people's opportunities with all of you guys. So I'm so stoked about this. I'm excited. I hope that you guys are too. It's going to be just amazing, incredible, outstanding. I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to hear other people's stories and their life opportunities, and hopefully someone's story can help you along the way. Before we get started, you guys, I want you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be having lots and lots of other people join our channel and be a part of this new series that we are starting. And I hope that you guys will enjoy it and share and be a part of this journey too. So let's get this started. Welcome to our first episode of the Tia B Show. We are so excited to welcome Kelsey Anderson. Woohoo! Okay, guys, I know you guys know who this girl is. She is not only my assistant, our nanny, she is also our dear friend and sister. And she has come into our life at such a vulnerable and hard time and has really, really, really changed our lives. And we are so, so grateful for her. So Kelsey, we are grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you.
Thank you for being here. I wanted Kelsey to go first and be the first person that I interview, because Kelsey has such a unique story that we'll be talking about today, and she will be sharing with you guys that I know that you guys can learn from, grow from, and probably relate to. So, Kelsey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Kelsey Anderson. I am from St. George, Utah, originally. I'm 24 years old. I went to college. I graduated with a communications degree. I grew up with all brothers. I love talking about that because I feel like that's a little bit, it describes my personality. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. How was it growing up with all brothers?
Awesome. I mean, it was awful and awesome at the same time.
Awesome and awful.
I feel like that's the reason why, like, I have tougher skin. I don't even know if I have tough skin, but I'm grateful for, like...
Yes, you have tough skin.
I'm grateful for being raised with boys because I don't like the drama that girls bring.
So did you ever want a sister?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, always. So we always, like, had kids in our home living with us, fostering and stuff. My parents are awesome. They have, like, open door policy, but they were always boys, never girls. So I always wanted a sister so bad.
And tell the story. So you actually got a sister.
Yes.
So tell that story.
So when I was 14, my dad ended up telling my siblings and I that we have a half sister, which doesn't surprise me because my dad was a little crazy. They gave her up for adoption when he was in high school. So when I found that out, I found out it was LDS adoption. So being LDS adoptions, he was from DC, and so I was like, she has to be in Utah. Like, LDS, that's Utah. So we were living in Utah at the time. And so every black person I saw, I was like, that's my sister. That has to be my sister. That can be my sister. We met her in 2016 through Ancestry DNA. We all, like, did our DNA, and then we found a match. We found her on Instagram. I was scrolling, and I was like, oh my gosh, she looks just like me. It has to be her. And yeah. And now
she does. She looks just like Kelsey. They look a
crazy.
lot alike.
She's shorter than me and a little bit spunkier than me, but it's crazy. She is awesome. She's 14 years older than me, but we look like we could be twins.
How is that feeling like? Tell us about that feeling when you, like, found your sister. Like, how did it feel?
Well, it was definitely emotional. So I had an Instagram, and I called my dad because he used to drive truck, and he was on the road. And I was like, Dad, you have to pull over. We found her. And he was like, what? And I was like, we found her. And at that moment, he was, like, emotional wreck, and he was looking, and he was, like, scared to look. And, like, it's scary. It's like, oh, my gosh, that's, like, my kid. And for me, I was like, that's my sister. I was scared because I just was worried that she didn't want to have a relationship with us. And that was, like, my biggest fear, is that, like, she was going to know of my dad's past and, like, be like, no, I don't want anything to do with him. But it was the opposite. Honestly, we reached out to her. She reached out a couple days later, just because she mentally had to handle it. But yeah, and then a couple weeks, it was like 2 weeks after the initial like messaging back and forth, she drove out here with her family. And she has 6 kids and a husband, and yeah.
That is so cool. What a cool reunion.
It was definitely crazy. I actually saw them pull up. So I was at work. I was working at the time, and she pulled up her car, and I was pulling in right behind her, and I was like, So I drove around, and I drove around. I was like, I can't like do it.
Like, I'm not ready yet.
I was so stressed. I couldn't do it. Like, we're family, we're friends. Sometimes when people are adopted, like, it can be a little bit awkward throughout the years, like, but it's not. Like, I have nieces and nephews. I have my sister. My parents have grandkids. It's just like, it's a family. So it's
that
awesome.
is so cool.
Yeah.
I think that's cool that's like so awesome that you bring in like new family members, even in your guys' foster family, like the foster kids, like you guys instantly made them family and made them feel loved. And that's what people need is love.
Honestly, you did that with me as well. And I think that's how we need to be in the world. Like, we need to be more willing to have that connection.
Yes.
And open door. That's a word that I've been like looking up lately, is just connection. And we need that. We need that more in our lives right now. Like, kids need it, and teenagers need it, and adults need it.
Everyone needs it. Especially after, I think the pandemic was really hard for a lot of people, obviously. Yes. And we need to make that connections and those relationships more important, especially these days. We're going to take a little dance break, and then we're going to come back. Join us. Get up off your booties. Let's dance, let's get it. Hey, let's get it. Hey, we got to take a dance break. It's good for our minds. If you really feel me, then you'll watch us all the time. I said, hey.
So stinky.
Hey, but good. Hey. Thank you guys. Thanks for getting up and dance. This wouldn't be the Tia B show if we weren't dancing, correct?
So true.
I mean, come on.
True.
Okay, Kelsey, so let's get back to this. So tell everyone the story of how you came to be a part of our family.
Okay, so it was 2019. End of 20. I have known Tia since I was like in middle school, high school. She performed assemblies at my middle school. It's always about like anti-bullying. We all looked up to Tia. We all looked up to Tia. We all looked up to Tia's calamity. I was friends with Tia's niece, so I saw her at a lot of things. I've met her before, but this girl meets everyone. So, but in 2019, I had hit a really low place. I had hit low places before, like up and down. I have anxiety and depression, and some things that have happened in my life has made it so that like I get suicidal thoughts. I feel things a lot deeper. And at the time in 2019, I'd reached out to Tia, and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I can't keep shaking this thought of I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know my purpose. I don't know what to do. I can't keep doing this anymore. And I've been in that place before. She told me to write a grateful journal. She told me all her basic staples. But this time she was like, you just need to move. You need to get out of there. You need to like change.
Change of scenery is always good, guys.
Yeah.
Always good.
And so she told me, she's like, you need to move. And I was like, yeah, I always say that, but I always get nervous because every time I've like done something like change or move, it doesn't work out. Like I tried a mission, didn't work out. I tried to do this work job out in a different state, it didn't work out. And so I was so scared, but she was like, just move up north, try it. If it doesn't work out, go home.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving up north. When I moved up north, I met this guy literally a week after, and we'd actually known each other. We were family friends. We got engaged really fast, and I was happy. I thought that was what was good for me. I thought that was like my next steps. And then 2020 hit, and we were planning our wedding, and the pandemic happened. It started, and I was getting stressed. Like my anxiety started skyrocketing, and things with our relationship wasn't working out, and it became toxic. It became not good for me, but I was staying because I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted that feeling of, I just wanted to be married so bad, and I wanted that to be my change.
Yes.
Like you said.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be my change, And so
I think a lot of young girls can relate to that, because I feel like, you know, as we're going through life and through that, especially that time in your life, you want that change of marriage and relationship, and it becomes really, really important, you know?
Yeah, and making that choice, it's like you don't want to back out from that, because then what? You have to start over and doing all those things. And so it ended up being around April, the time you were diagnosed, was when our engagement broke off, and I went home for a little bit to try to get my mind straight, because I was so depressed. And after I'd gotten my head straight, it was May, she'd come home, and your mom had passed away, so I wanted to bring you something to your home. I came and saw you out on your front porch. I don't know if you remember that. You had lost your hair. Mm-hmm. Anyways, came in.
I'm like, chemo brain.
I have a picture, okay? But I came and saw you, and then it was like a few days later where you had messaged and asked, like, hey, like, I need someone to help me watch my kids. And so I was like, yes. I honestly was like, anything. I would do anything. I needed to get my head, like, on something else. I needed to do something that would make me happy, and kids make me happy. I work with kids. That's what I've always done. So that was, like, the start of it.
Yeah. And, like, how cool is it? I just want to say, like, during this time when I was in the hospital, and I had just gotten diagnosed, I was in there for a month, my first round of chemo. And my mom and Cambria, my best friend, we were all just praying about someone who could help my family during this time, because A, I was really, really sick. I couldn't do a whole lot. B, because of my immune system, I couldn't do a whole lot around my house or even with my kids. And C, I was fighting cancer, so I was in and out of the hospital all the time. And my kids needed somebody to help, like, them as well as help our family. So,
and we were in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic.
School had just dropped out, like,
so it was just such an answer to our prayers, because it was right after my mom had passed away. We were looking for someone, and Kelsey, like, I remember I had talked to Kelsey a few times. She moved up north, and she had just said she quit her job. And so I was like, hey, like, would you want to help me with my kids? And she said yes, you guys. It was a miracle that she even said yes. And it's been just the biggest blessing in our lives to have her a part of our family. But I just want to point out that, you know, God hears and answers our prayers. Like, He is aware of our needs. He is aware of what we need in our life and what's going on in our life. Even if we feel like we're in the midst of a dark time, like I was in the midst of cancer, you know, and something really, really hard, that I know that God hears and answers prayers, and He loves us so much that He will provide help. He will provide a way. He will provide us to be able to, that our needs will be met, and that we can be able to still go on. So I just think that was just such a huge answer to our prayers.
To mine as well. And honestly, like, thank you for interviewing me, because honestly, it's not until you go through what's happened in your life. Like, I remember when the engagement broke off, I was praying for purpose, because I was going to kill myself. Like, because I've had those lows before, it's like sometimes your depression, like, your mind tells you these things that's like, you're not good enough, you're not gonna be able to find.
It almost, I don't know, people with mental illness maybe can relate, but it almost like, it's like a layer effect. Like, it just layers on and on and on and on from, you know, it's hard, because even going through what I've been through with my mental illness journey, is that, like, it's not like each layer gets thinner. It's almost like they just get
pile on
thicker. Yeah. It's like an onion.
It doesn't dust away.
So,
it's there, but
I get that.
It's hidden.
Yeah.
And so, and just remembering, like, I was praying for purpose, and I was given that purpose by God. Like, He had given it to me. You don't always see it while you're in it. You don't see it all the time.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. So what do you think was the biggest thing? You've talked about, you know, you've had suicidal thoughts, you know, you've had these really dark moments, but what could you tell people that has really helped you through these, you know, experiences in your life?
Yeah. I think one thing for sure is just, like, finding your confidence. And I've found that through working with Tia and through being with her, and her example, like, truly has been, like, the biggest blessing for me. And learning how to love yourself. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror for a long time. Tia had me start Calamity, which is her dance group. I didn't dance. I didn't like to dance. I would die. Like, she would try to get me in her videos, and I would, like...
I'd be like, Kelsey, come to the front. She's like, no.
I mean, Rose Parks, I'm on the back. That's what I'd say. Like, literally, I didn't like being in the front. I didn't like being in videos because I didn't like myself. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like... But until, like, you tell yourself, it's the affirmations is huge. Like, you have to tell yourself these things. You have to smile, and you have to change your way of thinking. It's
Grateful journal.
Yeah. And the Grateful Journal.
That changes your way of thinking, you guys.
Yes. And I think that's the biggest thing is, like, your perspective and your way of thinking. If you can think, like, oh, I hate my arms. They're so flabby. Oh, I have arms. Like, until I started working with Tia and seeing the perspective of, like, I mean, I've always seen, like, people go through hard things and then it makes you feel grateful. But until you're actually in it, until you actually see, like, with your own eyes and experience it for yourself, it really does make a huge difference. Like, seeing you with your body change, and also not just that, but there was so many times where Tia literally almost died in front of my face. Like, and I had her 7-month-old baby, like, and I'm supposed to watch her, like, and love her, and that was really hard because I saw what you were going through. And so I had to almost just forget about myself, look at others, and then I learned to love myself, if that makes sense. It's like you always say, to serve others, put yourself aside. There's times when, like, mental illness, you definitely need to, like, you need to work on yourself. And Tia would tell me all the time, you were locked in a closet. Your husband would lock you in a room, and you'd have to sit by yourself, because I'm the kind of person that hates to be by myself. But it's good because you can reflect on the things. You know what I mean? You have to reflect on the things. And
well, I think it's learning to be with yourself, you know, and that was something that I went through with recovering and working through my mental illness was, you know, like she said, a little bit, Andy used to have me sit in a room that had nothing on the walls, nothing. Like, it was an empty blank room, and I would have to sit in there for like 30 minutes by myself because at the time, I wasn't okay with Tia. I wasn't okay with my own thoughts. Like, I was so sucked into the negativity that I had a really hard time. So this exercise, you know, if you're able to do that, if you're able to give yourself that time where just to be, you know, turn your music down. I know we all love music loud and stuff, but maybe while you're driving, just turn your music down and just be with your thoughts and learn how to, you know, listen to yourself. And then as you have negative things come into your mind, change it with a positive. Like, try to change those negative thoughts into a positive, or try to address it differently. I know that helped me tremendously, and helped me even to this day. Like, it's crazy because yes, I love music, I love dancing, but I don't listen to a whole lot of music unless I'm teaching, like, because I like to be in silence now, which is a huge step and a huge, like, change from me before. So I love that. Yes, I think you've grown so much, and it's been cool to watch you, just your confidence grow, and everything about you is just light. You know?
I've had it in me. Like, I know, because, like,
everyone has it in them.
Yes, like, we all do, and especially, like, when you feel comfortable with your family or your friends, or, you know, like, in the shower or something, you know that, like, that's you. Yeah. Right? But, like, when you're with, like, I feel like I started to hide that when I started feeling, after my engagement, I was heartbroken. So I didn't feel good enough. So I started to push things down, like, because I didn't feel good enough. But then when I started working with Tia, and she, like, it's validation 100%. Like, you have to, like, tell yourself these things, even if you don't believe it. Like, you tell yourself those things, you start to do it more. The action is the biggest key. It's like, if you don't act, it's not going to happen.
I believe in, you say things like affirmations that you want to become. A lot of people think affirmations are things like, I can't say I'm beautiful because I don't feel like I am, or I can't say I'm positive because I'm not a positive person. No, like, say things that you want to become. So if you want to be a more positive person, say, I am positive. Say, I am willing. Say, I am beautiful. And eventually those things become to a head, like, they become full force, you know, and you start to believe it. And that's what we want. Because if you believe it, then you can give that love out to everybody else in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I love it.
I love your story. I'm grateful for it. What is something that people, if they have family members that are dealing with mental health and going through their, you know, they have family members that are facing suicidal thoughts or really dark moments, what can they do for their families? or friends.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, sometimes, like, the mental illness won't end. It stays with you. It can get better, and you can, like,
Get stronger. Yeah.
And you can be happy while you have it.
Yeah.
Like, some people think if you're depressed, you have to be sad all the time. No, that's just in your head. Like, that's a thought that people put into your head. I would say if you have family members dealing with it, is try to be that positive energy. Try to, like, just try to change your own paradigm. Like, being with you and being all positive all the time, there's no room for the negative.
Yeah.
You know, there's no room. You don't have room for it. If you are going through these things, I would say definitely to reach. Everyone always says this, but reach out. Like, if you're scared, you have to reach out. If you have these thoughts, find someone that you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, it was reaching out to Tia. I did reach out to her because she was so open about her journey of depression and mental illness and, like, eating disorder. This was back in the day. She was so open with it that I felt comfortable reaching out to her because I knew that she had felt what I had felt. And so reaching out and finding that positive, and then, like what Tia says, the gratefuls, like, being grateful every day is, like, what is that quote that you always say is, like,
it's not happy people who are grateful, it's grateful people who are happy.
Exactly. And it's like, you can change any day. Every day is not, there's not bad days. There's bad moments, but there's never bad days.
Yeah.
You have that choice. Like, it's all a choice. And some days you choose to have a bad day. Well, that's your choice. And that's on you.
Soak up that bad day. Actually, you know, my husband always said, and he said this, we've said this in lives before, but, you know, it's okay to have bad days because the bad days help you to appreciate the good days.
Yeah.
And when you do have a good day, it's like, wow, this is awesome, you know? So don't ever feel like stuck. You don't have to be stuck in that bad day or that bad moment. There are ways out. So, but I love that because it does help you to appreciate all those good moments that we have, that we're blessed with. So.
Yeah, and look back in your life. Look back in your life and see the things that were good that have happened, or even right now, like, in this moment, what are things in this day that are good, or, like, that has led you to this moment, and like, wow. Even going, like, talking about it, it's like memory lane, like, holy cow, the things that, like, I've been able to change and, like, overcome and become. I feel like I'm more comfortable being myself. I've always been a theater geek, but I've never been able to, like, say it out loud or do these things until you made me sing on stage. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And you're like, yes, you are.
You got to be pushed a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Be pushed, but,
and that's good. That's good for us.
But it brings you joy. And, like, I can honestly say, like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. Like, and we still have hard days. Yeah. And we still have our moments. But I am better and okay with myself.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, good. I love that. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being open and honest about everything that you've been through. Is there anything else that you want to leave with our viewers that are watching?
No, just keep going. My granddad used to always say, keep on keeping on, and I love that. And, like, I think that that's something that's, like, you just got to keep going.
Yes.
And keep trying and smile, and that's a big thing. I'm not also very good at smiling all the time. But
she has a beautiful smile, right?
The more
beautiful
I do it,
smile.
It makes you feel happy.
Yes.
So smile more, think less, and
I love that. Yeah. Thank you. And if people want to find you on Instagram, what is your...
Oh, my handle?
What's your handle? Where can people find Kelsey at?
Kelsey Anderson 11.
Kelsey Anderson
crazy,
11.
But you'll see me on Tia's Instagram, so you can find me there.
Love that. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
I appreciate talking to you. Thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
I love you. I know that a lot of people are going to be touched and going to be able to relate to your story, and they can find help and... You know what I mean? Find that help and that extra oomph to life after listening to you. So
I think this is awesome. Interviews are awesome. Yes. We can all learn from each other.
Yes, so. We can all learn. And that is the thing is that I wanted to bring was that we can all learn from each other's opportunities. I believe that we go through these life opportunities for a reason, not just for ourselves, but for other people. And I hope that we can all learn and grow together and make sure you go out and do something good in the world today.
Yeah.
I love you. Aloha means hello, goodbye, and I love you. Yeah. Him, you, me, we got this.